Hello everyone, I wanted to jump on here really quick. Hopefully this is a very short video, but I saw some discourse online and it really inspired me to make this video. This discourse happened on a completely different platform and it did not even involve me, but after reading it, I was reflecting on some of the comments that I also see under some of my videos. And these comments usually reflect around, how do you get your magic to work? Oh my gosh, you are so lucky for that to work out for you, and so on and so forth. But baby, I work for everything that I have, and that should be encouraging because if I can do it, then you can do it too. So this video is going to be geared towards beginners coming into the witchcraft, occult, spiritual scenes, those that are developing their magical practices for the first time. If you're someone that's been around the block, there is not going to be anything new or revelatory in this video because this video really is geared more towards beginners. So magic won't work if you're avoiding the work. As the title suggests, that is what we are going to be discussing today. And there's a couple different things that I want to hit in this video. If I sat down and did a troubleshooting video of all the different ways why spells and rituals don't work, it would be a rather lengthy video. So this is really just tackling one particular issue that might be the cause of your magic not working effectively. So let's talk about the uncomfortable truth. And please also know this isn't an attempt to attack anyone's practice. This is me hopefully, potentially giving the power back in your hands. So let's talk about what it means to actually do the work. There are going to be many points addressed throughout this video, but the first misconception that I want to address is something I see all the time from beginners coming into this community, starting their witchcraft practice for the first time. There is this false belief that magic is a shortcut. It is a shortcut to getting what you want. This could look like, I don't want to budget and be financially responsible, so I'm going to cast a money spell. I don't know how to have healthy relationships and I'm emotionally unavailable, but I'm going to do a love spell. Or I'm going to cast a spell to heal myself, but I'm not going to go to doctors, I'm not going to go to therapy, I'm not going to do anything in the mundane realm that would help support that. I want to be very clear that magic will not carry what you refuse to pick up. And in the beginning of this video, this is me giving a little bit of tough love, but there are many reasons why magic is not a shortcut and should not be used as a shortcut. One of the biggest reasons is that magic takes the path of least resistance, right? That is what we hear all the time from many different practicing occultists and witches in books online. Magic takes the path of least resistance. So I've used this example a million times before. I used it on the podcast with Justin. If you're wanting to lose 10 pounds and then you do a spell to lose weight essentially, but then you don't exercise, you don't eat right, you don't do all the things in your mundane life to support that. Maybe you catch the flu and you vomit for 2 weeks straight, and then sure, you've lost those 10 pounds, but it wasn't really in the way that you wanted. But magic takes the path of least resistance. That person is not exercising and eating right in that scenario, so it's not going to be healthy weight loss. It's going to be very unhealthy, and likely that person will gain all of that weight back once they start feeling better again. Another reason why magic is not a shortcut is because there needs to be a channel open in order for that magic to work and to deliver what it is that you desire. And what I mean by opening a channel is if you are doing a job spell, let's say, you are trying to get the perfect job, which recently I did a job spell earlier this year, and I ended up landing the perfect job. And I am absolutely in love with my job. It is a very rare job to have, super unique, and I am completely in love with all aspects of it. And it worked. But you have to be applying to the jobs. You have to be going to interviews. You have to be opening yourself up to these opportunities to come your way and creating a channel for the current of magic to deliver that to you. If you do a job spell, but then you don't spend any time applying to jobs, how do you expect for that to be fulfilled? I've said this in other videos as well. I really enjoy looking at magic as a statistical advantage. So let's say you have a 50-50% chance of getting something that you really, really want. There is still a chance, right? It's 50-50, or maybe it's 40-60 or whatever it is. Magic is going to help increase the likeliness of you getting the thing that you want. So instead of 50-50, maybe it's 80-20 now, 80% in your favor of you acquiring the thing that it is that you want. But if you were to do a spell for something that you have 0% chance of achieving, how is that magic going to come your way? Now let's talk about the energetics of incongruence, because I want to go a little bit deeper with this. Now that we've covered kind of the basics, let's go to incongruence. So incongruence refers to this mismatch or discrepancy between how the person views themselves and how they actually wish to be. So a good example of this in a magical space is casting a confidence spell or a success spell. You know, you do a sun ritual for glowing success, but then you internally are embodying failure by the way that you speak to yourself. Maybe you say things like, I'm not good enough, this is never going to work, and so on and so forth. Maybe it's not even in the ritual space, and these are just things that you say to yourself throughout the day. Self-sabotage can sometimes be one of our biggest enemies, and it is really important to, when we say do the work, to work on your internal self so that it can match the external reality that it is you're hoping to see. Because going to the idea of a microcosm, macrocosm relationship, with the macrocosm being the celestial world above, and let's say the microcosm being this vessel, they reflect on each other and are connected to each other. So this goes into the phrase of as above, so below, as within, so without. What is happening internally is going to affect the external. What is happening externally is going to affect the internal. So if you do a ritual for change, but then internally there is some sort of dissonance there, some sort of incongruence, let's say, you are quite literally blocking your own success. And then we get into, you know, conversations about Jungian shadow work, and y'all know how I feel about that by now. I don't necessarily think that shadow work is something that every single person on this planet should do. I do think that therapy in general is something that everyone should partake in, but there's many, many different types of therapies out there beyond just shadow work. I know beginners are told, do your shadow work. I'm never going to tell you that, because Jungian shadow work is a very specific type of therapy that looks at the repressed parts of your psyche, the shadow self, to integrate them with the rest of your persona. And there's so much more that goes into shadow work than that, but we tend to get a little carried away in the community telling everyone and their mom to go get shadow work when there's a million other types of therapy out there that may be better for that particular individual. So therapy, yes, doing the inner work to figure out why you are the way you are, your inner mechanisms, your thought patterns, learning that will help you know how to change those thought patterns and match it with the intentions of your ritual. Now let's talk about the need for some sort of structure when it comes to spell work. I don't believe there's any right or wrong way to do magic. Every individual is a little bit different. There are many different magical traditions out there that one can partake in, but I do think that there is at least some sort of structure that is necessary for a really effective ritual. Now, don't get me wrong. I am also a chaos magician. I love throwing things into the wind and seeing if they stick in some sort of chaotic ritual that is based around using my own belief as the tool to manifest the things I want. When I'm talking about structure, I'm talking about discipline, effort, depth. Spells need containers in the form of structure and support. Consistency. I'm talking about the mundane aspects of magic. Reading the books, doing the exercises that the book actually tells you rather than just reading a book, placing it on your bookshelf and then never looking at it again. Doing the exercises, doing the meditations, setting up a regular practice if that's something you're interested in. I don't think that's necessary for everyone, but if it helps you be consistent in the beginning, then that's something to consider. So if you cast a money spell, start to budget. Learn some basic financial literacy. Take a new job opportunity, read an economics book and get into stocks and learn how that works. Start making income from something you're really passionately, creatively inspired by. You do a road opener spell, walk through doors when they're actually open. And if something comes your way, say yes instead of constantly doubting it in your mind. And I just want to add a caveat here. You don't have to be perfectly healed to do magic by any means. You just have to be taking the necessary steps to open up a channel for that magic to come your way. And be honest about where you're at. If you're casting a money spell and you're not budgeting at all and you have zero financial literacy, be honest with yourself. So this was all just a reminder that you are the magic. You are the ritual. You are the spell. You are the sacred vessel. As above, so below, as within, so without. If you're not doing the work in your internal world and your external world, your magic is likely not going to manifest in the ways that you would like. I know this video is a little bit tough love, and I'm not the first person to say this. This is not revolutionary information. Again, for those that have been around the block, if you are watching this video right now, you've likely heard every single thing I've said in this video a million times. But sometimes I think it just needs to be repeated again, just in case. You know, we got a lot of new people coming into the community. I've been seeing these comments all over the place, and it's a good reminder to just be really realistic with ourselves so that we can actually live the life that we want. Thanks for listening. I'll see you in another video soon.